what's being done in this movement is restoring the mind state. It's waking up dormant DNA. Okay, it's bringing people back from different times. All right. You got babies being born who know that they God. You got babies being born who know that they goddess. You got babies being born and they're doing the work. They're not just talking about it. So, would that be, huh?
They was made for this.
Yeah. Yeah. King shit. Yeah. Yeah. Look. I'm from the city where the bums rich. Skyscrapers block the rays when the sun hits. One time coming, niggas run quick. By the time a baby walk, he got a gun grip. I was made for this. 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 I'm not a product of the cages that they raised us in. Bred to be a king, I'm not a slave to this. I was made for 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 this. I'm not a product of the cages that they raised us in. Bred to be a king, I'm not a slave to this.
They don't know fact from fiction. They don't know the blacks is missing. They don't know they trapped in prison. They don't know the path.
Peace and black power. Welcome to another edition of Baba TV, House of Consciousness. Once again in Harlem, my foundation. I don't know what to do. I can't stay in Syracuse too long before I get the itch. I gotta get away. Earth, Wind, and Fire say I gotta get away. A few important topics today for my big brother, Red Pill One. My brother, crazy brother, Lil Wayne, made some comments saying that racism don't exist. You know, if you black in America, black, white, or candy stripe, as my brother Natural Tahuti would say, and you live in here amongst these people, and you don't recognize that racism is alive. First of all, racism is prejudice plus power. So for all you white people who may be listening, there's no way that we can be racist. You say, well, you don't have no power, so you can, all right, you can't be racist, but you can be prejudiced. No, we can't be prejudiced neither. It's post-judgment. That means that we already know, given your history and what you have done to the darker skinned people of the world, I will call it post-judgment. It's post-judgment. Absolutely. So we don't have to prejudge you. Prejudice means to judge before the fact. We already know what you are capable of doing. Your history is written in blood. So get it correct. It's post-judgment. If you're going to teach, let's teach it correctly. Teach the truth to the youth. Brother Red, expound a little bit on Brother Wayne, Lil Wayne.
First and foremost, for a man or a boy such as Lil Wayne, who, to my knowledge, the brother from New Orleans or Louisiana, is that correct? Huh? Absolutely. Brothers from New Orleans. When you go online and you research the top 10 most racist states in America, guess who's number one? West Virginia, and at a close second is Louisiana, or as the most racist state according to the tweets. And they're not talking about black people against anyone else, because Baba just broke down the fallacies of attributing racism to our people. So when we see this thing with Lil Wayne saying that racism doesn't exist, first of all, what he's doing is insulting the intelligence of over 10 million black people. Why do I say that? Because if you count up the numbers of the people that have been protesting ever since 2014, this motherfucker obviously never caught that on the news. Did he miss that report? Was he watching the basketball game when everybody was fucking protesting against racism? Did he miss out on Alton Sterling? Huh? So he's playing blind possum. He's talking about see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And what he's saying is he's acquisitioning, he's basically waving the white flag and saying that I'm submitting to Rome because they treat me good and I don't see no fucking evil. I don't see nothing taking place. Is he crazy? That is something for people to really sit back. You have to look at the psychology behind that, behind an artist who built his whole career off of murdering black people in a very creative manner. Let's talk about bars. He came up with some of the most creative bars on how to fuck a woman, a black woman, and how to kill a nigga. 6 million ways to die. Okay? That's what he did. Then he went and started false flagging. He wasn't even in the gangs and started pushing gang mentality. This is a man who's on camera kissing another man, okay? And he's saying the racism doesn't exist. All right, he's saying he never experienced racism. That's coming out of his mouth. He got in front of a white man at a time of war. Why do I say that? Because if you look around, if any black man, I don't give a fuck if I don't care about how much money that you get, because money doesn't denote power. Money does not protect you, and we know that now. It's a lot of rich niggas face down right now. Okay, it's a lot of rich niggas in the feds. Money doesn't save you. All of these rapper dudes get pulled over, locked up, and all of these other things. So how do you think because you have money, racism doesn't exist? Because you got money and white people treat you good because they're taking the most of your money. Any white person around Lil Wayne has their hands in his pockets. That's a fact. All right? They found ways on how to get money off of that nigga. Even if they endorse him, they're still making more money than his monkey ass. So no. It's time for our people to start holding our entertainers and these people that our children worship, and they speak it to our people and influence them. You better hold them accountable, because if you don't hold them accountable, the rest of the world is going to hold your monkey asses accountable, because people are watching us around the world. They like these tough niggas be crying when white people be putting the pain on them. These are the same niggas on the radio talking about their goons and goblins and all of this stuff. But the minute they ask them, you got beef with white people? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing is happening. Everything is good. We're good over here. You're a bird, okay? You're running. You're a fear. The fear that you have for your oppressor has been you're no longer alpha males. These niggas are betas. They waving the white flag. So to ignore what's taking place to innocent black people in America, innocent young black women and men, Sandra Bland, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, we could go all the way back. Okay, all the people that got killed in Louisiana for Katrina, do your knowledge. There is a cop that just came out and said that they killed thousands of black people during Katrina, and nobody reported that. When it happened, there was reports of the police, Blackwater, the police and white supremacists going around Katrina in the flooded areas, shooting niggas in their heads. They got all kind of bodies floating with bodies riddled with bullets. There were even Blackwater people that went to jail for that. Yeah.
I want to add on to what you said. Brother. And it's ironic that Lil Wayne, who scored a 4.0.
Yes,
okay. Okay, so that means he's smart in psychology. He had a 4.0 in psychology at the University of Houston. Okay, and so he's a very smart. But then you got to consider the $40 million slave reality. There's a book called $40 Million Slave, whereas certain athletes and entertainers that are black are paid extra, more money as an incentive, not to try to galvanize people towards revolution, when there's social injustices taking place.
Yes.
In a demographic in which they racially are a part of. So culturally, though they're influential, they pay them to not influence that. And you got to understand that Louisiana, being one of the most racist states in America, if you go to Google right now, racist states, most racist states in America, watch Louisiana come up as, you said, one of them.
What is on the top?
I think it's before the first one. Hold on. I think Louisiana's before the first one. That's how racist it is, okay? Now, I was in the Panther Party when the levees blew.
When they blew the levee.
That's what I was getting. That was a documentary that actually Spike Lee did in 2006. It came out, I believe, and it was called When the Levees Blew. And actually went and did a lot of research and gathered information and data from actual accounts of people that were there that actually survived. That say that they heard explosions around the areas of the levees. Okay, where the flood took place one day. Okay, but the majority of the people died after the fact. When the levees blew, they were there to protect, because that's the Gulf, that's down in the Gulf Coast area, like, say Gulf of Mexico area, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of water right there, basically the Atlantic Ocean. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So when they blew, that was supposed to fortify and protect them from that. It was blowing up. And the Panther Party, and I was in the Panther Party then. I didn't go down there actually with the brothers. I was in the New Jersey chapter then, okay? Okay, but listen, okay? And the brothers actually went down there. So I had second-hand really accounts from the people that was there, and actually seen actual footage of the explosion, you know what I'm saying, where they showed the actual, there was bomb experts on the scene saying that these were explosion devices. You can see where they were at the actual levees, and Homeland Security approached them. I seen the actual footage, because the brothers took, recording devices. They brought the cameras down there, and they actually recorded the actual event. Homeland Security, what are you guys doing here, da-da-da? And the brother, because some of the brothers are militarily trained and know about explosives and stuff, was actually documenting what was what and how this was actually explosion. Spike Lee followed up. He came out after that. Yeah. I seen the video that my own brothers and comrades in the Panther Party bought. They came and showed that footage. And they showed the Homeland Security came and made them leave. Yeah. And the Coast Guard was there too. Corps. Yeah, the Army Corps. You know what I'm saying? And it was the Homeland Security. They made them step off, basically.
But
so the whole point is,
body and shit.
Yeah. Hold on. It wasn't that the same state where Governor, what was the cracker's name? Was that in Louisiana?
Jindal?
No. From back when, no, that was Mississippi, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was Mississippi. Okay, so I'm going to dash that point. Okay, but the whole point is it's one of the most racist cities in America. And besides that, the history of, you know what I'm saying, the Angola prison down there, and the racist the racist COs in Angola prison. No joke. Man. That was a slave plantation, one of the biggest ones. You know what I'm saying? That's where it went down at. That's where they got killed. And that's where, because, they made the 14th Amendment to re-enslave us, basically. That was one of the primary major places that was a model of what the re-enslavement of black people was to be. Angola prison, which is basically a plantation turned to a prison. Fact. Right down there in Louisiana, where Lil Wayne is from, but says racism doesn't exist. This is the testimony by a black person that lives in Louisiana that I just pulled up about Louisiana's racism just on Google. And in part, because I'm not going to read the whole chapter. I just want you to get the gist of how racist was state where one of the most gangsters and realist person who went to college and got a 4.0 in psychology says racism doesn't exist. I wonder why. What kind of copper top battery did this nigga have in his back? Okay.
They paid that dude.
So it says, yes, there are still separate proms for whites. Okay, no, I'm going to stop before that. Sorry. It says once Obama took office, people were downright bitter, and it exposed a harsh reality about racism in America. It's not over. Yes, there is still separate proms for whites and blacks as late as 2015. This is in Louisiana, where Lil Weezy's from. It says white-only neighborhoods, white-only schools. Still, in Louisiana, white-only. Unspoken rules not to travel in certain areas, meaning sundown towns. Travel in certain areas regardless of the time of day. So that means anytime towns, okay? My state, Louisiana, has just traded their KKK robes for uniforms, agency officials, and politicians. It's so sad but true down south.
So I want to say this. I've never heard on any mixtape any of these artists, I'm talking about all of them, ever since Tupac died, because he was riding. I've never heard one mixtape where any of the artists did a drive-by on the KKK. Any of the drive-by did a drive-by on the neo-Nazis. Let's not pick on innocent white folk. Let's just talk about the ones who are on record killing our people. Anybody who been behind the bars know that the Aryan Nation puts long knives in the motherfucking ribs, in the hearts of some of the toughest Negroes you can make. Okay? They put in a lot of work. And we know that on the list of the people who had the most death threats against your own president is the white supremacists. So I never heard a mixtape with none of these rappers using their poetry or or putting words together to say that we're going to kill some motherfucking KKK. We're going to get some get back. We're going to do a drive-by on the neo-Nazis. No! 99.5% of all of the art that these niggas have created has been against their own. So you're dealing with an internal war and you're dealing with an overt war. So you're dealing with a covert enemy and an overt enemy. The European is covert. He hides that shit. But these niggas are overt. They're in our faces. They're threatening your safety every fucking moment. Okay? Because we belong to a death culture and we didn't stop that shit from evolving into what it is. So now the kids are all about death. They don't even want to procreate. They don't even want to fucking live. They take drugs to kill themselves now. That's not what we used to do. We used to take drugs to wake up. Now they taking drugs to kill themselves. This a part of a death culture. They glorify death. They do dehumanize. These niggas sit on video games all day and kill each other online like it's like it's nothing. They look online and watch people getting killed. They go on ISIS websites. They are fixated with death. That's the culture that we belong to now. And these rappers have been proven to be the biggest traitors of our race today. Today, because when the going gets tough, we didn't know about this before, but now shit is tough. Now shit is getting turned up. And now we're seeing all of the coons come out the closet. So now they're like, yo, Colin Kaepernick, he needs to pledge allegiance. Needs to do what? We just had the anniversary of 9/11. You motherfuckers still haven't solved that. Because the case is beginning to show that the government did that.
That's right.
And all of the people who coming back, don't talk for the veterans. Let the veterans talk. They're saying we went to Iraq and we didn't have no reason to be there. They're saying we went to Afghanistan and there was no fucking reason to be here. The only person that's not saying that is some G.I. Joe cracker who just wanted to go kill some fucking Muslims. But all of the Spanish young men from the hood and the women and the black men, they're coming home with fucking mental issues because they went overseas to kill in an illegal war. They got all kind of spells on them now. Facts. I'm dead ass. It's 200 suicides a day. So how is Colin Kaepernick disrespecting the armed services when the own armed services is disrespecting the veterans? Why they killing themselves? Why these niggas is on the train asking me for money and they homeless and all of that? Fuck is you talking about? Why they on heroin and all of these other drugs? Why are they in Afghanistan protecting the heroin fields and everybody is on heroin now? Why? That's the plug. Bin Laden was the fucking plug. I mean, at the Taliban, those are the plug. That's like El Chapo to heroin, man. They drug dealers. They drug dealers. So you can't tell me to pledge allegiance to your flag. I like lift every voice and sing. Fuck that shit that y'all singing. That's not my flag. They're not representing us as. Go to the UN. We went to the UN. The Africans in the UN said there's no black people that sit at this table to represent the American flag. You don't have a flag. You have no representation in the United Nations. He said the white people don't sit for you. So where are you? He was like, they don't even talk about you at the table. So why am I pledging allegiance to the same place? None of the officers that killed Alton Sterling is in jail. None of the officers that killed Philando Castile is in jail. None of the officers that killed Sandra Bland. None of them. Eric Garner's officer got more money, got a fucking pay raise because the crackers have a reward system for doing that cracker shit, for upholding white supremacy. We in the community don't have a reward system. We don't even have a value system. So nobody, if you put in work in this community, you won't even get a fucking bonus. You won't even get a hoodie. Okay? They won't even give you an extra book. But that's how they keep this shit going. Dylan Roof has a GoFundMe account. He knows, even if he got to do life, they already put $1 million in his account. His family is good. He put in work for the race. So he goes and he's a king with the Aryan nation behind walls, and he never has to worry about no nigga touching him. Why? Because niggas is scared of the white boy. Bottom line, period. This is a new nigga. When I was younger, my OGs put in a lot of work on whoever the fuck they wanted to. Okay? They said the black man is God, the white man is devil. These were God bodies in the 80s. They would go on the train and put in that work. You understand? And then be like, I told you he was the devil. Fuck him. You know what I mean? They would teach us real history about the oppressor and the enemy of our people. Okay? So they didn't have no problem taking back what somebody already took from them. I'm not saying that, it is what it is. That was the modus operandi of the 80s. Okay? But these niggas of today, they have sold out their race to such a degree where they're so self-hatred, they hate their own so much that they'll do anything with anybody to get rid of these niggas. These niggas are consumed with hate. Self-hatred though. Self-hatred. So they don't see nothing outside of themselves as being a threat. So I can identify Lil Wayne saying, nah, racism don't exist. I skateboard with white people. They pay me. I pay them. It's these niggas that I hate. And when you listen to the music, and when you listen to the message, and when you see what's going on with him and his father, the same man that was kissing him on the lips, you understand that you're dealing with somebody that's dealing with traumatic, he's dealing with some kind of trauma, he's dealing with some kind of self-hatred, he's dealing with what we call aesthetic nihilism. It's what the punk rockers get down with. These motherfuckers who were born in this world as white people and encouraged to live, they want to die. You're dealing with a psychosis right there. But then us black boys who are born into this white dominant society where they encourage us to die, we just want to fucking live. That's the problem. They have a problem with that. So now the rappers have adapted that mentality, and all they talk about is dying, killing, getting rid of something. The girls don't want to have fucking babies because they want to be boys. The men don't want to have children because they want to be women. So they're being born, not even wanting to procreate. It's called species terminus. Look it up. Okay? Look it up. And it's this sickness that Rome has to offer, that you've adapted the ways of your oppressor. You've adapted your ways of people who are socially, they're sociopaths. Okay? I don't give a fuck if anybody get upset with it. Do the homework. Everywhere that they touch, you know how they say the Midas touch? Everything that the European touch is dying. Everything that he's touching is dying. Don't talk about niggas littering in Harlem and loitering in front of buildings. Get out of here with that. These crackers are spilling shit all in the oceans and killing it up. Look at the fucking clouds. They're not even clouds anymore. Okay, it's chemtrails. The water got lead in it. It's poison. The meat is not real. They say it has shit in it. The food in the store is GMO. It's plastic. It's not even real. It has no nutrients. The fish are dying. The birds are falling out of the sky. The whales are dying. The goddamn deer is dying. The horse are dying. Niggas are dying. Get the fuck out of here with that. And that's who you worship. So you get everything that you deserve. It's all kind of spells out here. Why? Because in the black man's mind, the dominant gene, the one who creates reality, because this is a holographic universe. So it's what you accepted. You accepted they're your master. You accepted they're 100 feet tall. You accepted that they're dominant. You accepted that they were superior. You used the term white superiority and gave them the superiority. You worship their Jesus. You worship them as the chosen people. You, black man and black woman, put the spell on yourself. Don't blame nobody else. Niggas ain't gonna get you out of that. How the fuck could your children rule you? How could your children rule you? You came here first. So, in any relationship, when a parent is on drugs, when a parent is fucked up, when a parent is incompetent, the child is gonna run all over the parent. You understand what I'm trying to tell you, right? That if you don't get your children in order, don't come around here with your fake ass protesting, you're marching, holding up signs, looking all weak and shit. That's not your problem. That's not gonna help. It's you. We gotta get us together. We gotta get us together. The white man or the European or the white blood cell, he's doing his job. He shows up when there's a sickness. Okay? So anytime when we got toppled, it's because we was already sick. We was already going through internal conflict. He just came and finished the job. Go read all of the journals from Columbus. Go read all of the journals from the ancient ones. They said that the white man came when we were at war with each other. It happened in Africa. It happened in Spain. It happened in the Americas, in the Caribbean. Okay, and now it happened in Harlem, it happened in Brooklyn, because these niggas was killing each other. They was going to war with each other. The crack era deteriorated all of the hood. It broke the walls down, so it allowed them to come in. Look at this shit. If this was Game of Thrones, it would look like your kingdom got conquered and they running through your shit now. How is it the Europeans who don't even share the culture with us, who a few decades ago didn't even want to drink at the water fountain, how is it that they moved into Harlem and your rent went up? You trying to tell me that somebody is more important than me? They more valuable than me? How the fuck does the appearance of Becky and John in this neighborhood? These are drug addicts. These motherfuckers is crazy. Have you talked to them lately? Huh? How is it that they came into the neighborhood and the rent went up? Who are they? Got grandma dying from a heart attack because she can't afford the $1,000 increase on her rent because a fucking Becky is on the block? Nah, I ain't with that. That's some dumb shit. It don't even make sense. What are they giving it to Harlem? What are they bringing back? They won't even fucking spend money with us. Okay? They come into your neighborhood and then build a bar and then a store so they don't got to spend no money with nobody else. Just their little bar, their little store, and then they in your neighborhood, they move in your neighborhood and won't spend no money with you. They build fucking stores in your neighborhood that they spend money at, and everything in there is up price. And then your rent goes up. How is it your rent goes up? Because white people move in your neighborhood. Are they more important than you? I thought all lives matter. What the fuck is going on with them that the shit went up? And if it does go up, are they bringing any money into the hood? All right then. Okay. So get off of the high horse. You know what I mean? All of that shit he talk about, race relations is over. Lil Wayne is a bird for that one. You understand? There's everything got worse. Okay? Everything got worse.
All right, Red Pill. That was fiery. Now, there's another cracker in New York by the name of Marc Jacobs. He's a fashion designer. He says that he refuses to apologize for having all these white women coming out with rainbow-colored dreadlocks, funny-looking dreadlocks. Now, I know back in the days, if a brother or sister or brother particular had a bow tie on, we know he was in the Nation of Islam. We know he was for black power. If I saw a brother with kente cloth on, I know that he was cultural, African spiritual. If I saw a brother with dreadlocks or a sister with dreadlocks, I know that they were heavily into the culture. But now, because of what these crackers have done, anything goes now. Up in Syracuse, New York, you got white heroin addicts with dreadlocks desecrating something that's holy, that's supposed to be represent the crown, the crowning jewel, the covenant, and you on heroin, you strung out. Speak to that a little bit, Red.
Well, Marc Jacob represents what I was talking about with Rome. As a fashion designer or a costume designer or a wardrobe designer, these Italians or these Romans represent Roman culture, Roman society, and a Roman mind state. But you only become who you are when you put your uniform on or that outfit on. So even with many of our artists, like everybody, when they begin to adapt the European or the Roman wardrobe of a Versace, these are Chichi Man. I'm talking about I'm talking about Bati Boy. I'm talking about Rome. I'm talking about Babylon. When the black men in hip hop began to adapt that wardrobe, didn't you notice that the energy began to change? Didn't you notice that the message began to change? Didn't you know that they began to change from alpha to beta to delta niggas? Huh? They started to become weak and soft. When we was wearing hoodies, baggy jeans, Timbs and all of that, the mentality and the mind state and the way we carried ourselves was different. Remember, wardrobe or uniform dictates uniformity, or design denotes I'm forget. No, it's a term that I'm looking for. So you have to understand, it's like if the police hop out of a van and they got on plain clothes, they're undercover. But if they hop out in all blue, they the police. If the fireman hop out in the red fire truck in all red, you know that that's the fireman. But what if he hopped out dressed like this? You'd be like, that nigga ain't no fireman. You can't be an undercover fireman. So if you're wearing homosexual clothing, right? If you're wearing homosexual brands like Marc Jacobs, because these are open homos. These are flaming homos. Like, what's the dude with the Adidas? Jeremy, whatever. You are representing their culture. You are representing that energy. You are representing that uniform. So Marc Jacobs doesn't feel like he owes black people apology because there's enough bird-ass black people out here that have acquiesced to Rome and acquiesced to the Romanistic mind state. They want to be down with them, look like them, support them, die, kill, to buy their shit. That he doesn't feel like he owes any black people apology because because black people have appropriated black culture. So even these niggas walking around with dashikis right now, there's some people that have no African mind state whatsoever to them, but they wearing a dashiki because that shit was on BT and it was on Instagram and it's in Dr. J's right now. Because we were selling dashikis in 2006 in Harlem. These groveling Negroes was walking past us. We still selling them. They won't even buy it from the outside black man. Them niggas, they went and started wearing it when Jimmy Jazz started wearing it. So these niggas are... They sit on the lap of Rome. They suckle from the breast of Rome. They are Romans. Remember, Roman was a cosmopolitan society. They had mercenaries. Hold on. Since for damn near 10 years, Rome had mercenaries, meaning that niggas worked for Rome. Even back then, you had blue black Africans killing other Africans in the name of Rome for pieces of silver and gold. That's what Lil Wayne represents. That's what these niggas represent. That's what Puffy represents. That's what all of these people who put our people under a spell and don't have a problem with that. They have not atoned. They have not even acknowledged the fact that they spiraling our people out of control, got them worshiping brands, got them worshiping all kind of other things outside of self. They don't deal with man know thyself. They don't deal with the kind of information the Sinetta have been bringing to people. He dressed these naked niggas up. The emperor had no clothes. He put the clothes on them. When you put on that consciousness, you change your tempo. You put clothes on. Right. So I'm talking about the clothing of life. Man make the clothes. Clothes don't make the man. Man make the clothes. Clothes don't make the man. So whatever you put on, you give life to it based on the energy that you possess and the energy that you exude. All right? So I want to say that many different designers have made these statements in the past. They've received no retribution for those statements. As a result, it's even known in marketing that that's a marketing strategy because according to the percentages, their sales increased amongst the black populace when they said to the black people, we don't care about you. Like when Timberland said what he said, his sales actually increased. When Hilfiger said that what he had to say, his sales increased. When Ralph Lauren said what he had to say, his sales increased. So why would Jeremy Scott say what he had to say, his sales, and he put out a sneaker with a slave chain on it, and his sales increased. So Rome they don't feel threatened by you niggas. They don't feel like they owe you any apologies because y'all slaves, y'all corporate slaves, consumer slaves. You will buy anything that they throw at you because that's the mind state of black people. They have no fucking loyalty whatsoever to their culture. All right? What up, Nati? Well, go on. Come back, True. You come? Yeah. All right. So that's what's going on. Fire bun Babylon. We don't do Babylon like that. And a disclaimer. We'll rock, yo, man make the clothes. Clothes don't make the man. So you could take some Versace and flip it. You could take some Gucci. You know, we ain't out here lacking. You understand? But we know the trinkets that we know that the people are under certain kind of spells, and it's going to take certain kind of trinkets in order to talk to them. Sometimes you got to cloak yourself in certain brands. You got to cloak yourself in certain things just to get the attention of the knuckle draggers. Okay? But we already know what it is because man make the clothes, clothes don't make the man. I come from the boosting era, the 80s. We took that shit, okay? We didn't, Brooklyn, bro. Flatbush, G4, shout out to Sport Low, Duck, shout out to Franklin Ave, Little and Ryan, all of them, Pup Low, Ralph Low, St. John's, all of them. even the brothers Thurston Howell and all of them. We come from the era where we were liberating cotton from these crackers, all up in their face, taking it from them. We wasn't bothering our mommy to buy no shit from the goddamn Bloomingdale. We wasn't breaking our mama's pockets. These little niggas out here breaking their mama pocket to buy Air Jordans for $300 that is a knockoff of the original ones and look worse than the original ones and don't even got the same material as the original ones. What the fuck is that? What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? So we ain't with all of that. If the brands is feeling you that much, tell them to send you that shit for free. If they ain't feeling you that much, tell them to cut a check. You understand what I'm saying? I'll never brag about what I'm buying from God, from Roman? From a Roman? From the crackers? Come on, B. Nah, we don't come from that. Like Jay-Z said, buy a half-price sweater new. You know, I'd rather go to the swipers. But Mark Jacobs with the rainbow dreads, he's disrespecting the Rastafarian culture because that's what the LBGT does. They disrespect the culture by way of these Romans, by way of these Greco-Romans. So they don't have it, they beyond cultural appropriation or being culture vultures. The LB they don't respect African culture, and what do? They appropriate it, they walk all over it, they water it down, and they put rainbow sprinkles all over that shit. Okay?
That's your question, brother.
Yes.
I want to ask you the same question I asked young Marcus over there. And the question is, do black people still feel inferior? Do you think our people are inferior in 2016 because,
Is this a Lex Vortex question?
No.
Loaded,
This is
okay.
another question. It's not no loaded shit because we have not evolved yet. We still, it's something holding us back. We ain't building shit. Do you think we still feel somewhat inferior, brother?
Yeah. Are you speaking of the populace? Are you speaking of the conscious community? Or are you speaking of black people as a whole? As of recently, they said 44 million.
Black people as a whole, even the fucking so-called conscious Negroes.
Are you talking about the niggas that we ran up against in Harlem? And then you mean the Coon Alert? Them too?
Them too. All of us. All of us.
All right. Excellent question.
Because we are no better than them. We may have a little more information, but we still all in the same position. All of us.
I would say that once we began to adopt the term white superiority, I want to know what year or during what era that term was even put forth into the lexicon of our people, white superiority, inferring that if you utilize that term or if you accept that mentality, then you are now acquiescing to the fact that you're inferior. Because ain't no white superiority, then black superiority.
Let me explain something. And this is serious. And I said it because of what Lex Vortex touched on earlier that I saw on your channel. When you propagate a theory or understanding amongst melanated people that we are, right, the supreme rulers of the land. Not only that the black man is not only original to this planet, but we are the supreme throughout this universe.
Yeah.
And you have that particular ideology running in this lane. When that same man says out of his mouth that there's such thing as white supremacy, that man is causing cognitive dissonance in the mind of God. That man is splitting his mind in a way in which it can't, into an alternative, it can't operate in this lane, right? Where it says that he's supreme. If he's turning around and out his mouth, he's saying that this other man is supreme. Because he says that he lives under an institution called white supremacy. Therefore, under the institution of white supremacy, where does that leave any time or space for the black man to be supreme or superior? It doesn't. It causes cognitive dissonance. The mind of God is God is crazy. You feel me? God has a mental disorder. You understand? He has a schism. That has been created by way of the fact that he has to exert himself in some way to convince himself that he's superior or supreme, but at the same time, he's living under the institution called white supremacy and identifying it as such. The universe is like, nigga, you crazy. You have to be. Your mind is not operating the right way. So that's what we're looking at, and that's what we're dealing with as a community. The results of that. The results of mental fucking retardation on a level that's so big. It's cultural. You feel me? It's so deep that we can't see it. So yeah, that's what we dealing with.
The romanticism of times of law. The romanticism of great kingdoms that came before us. The romanticism of, being able to sit at the temples and meditate. That's saying that I've identified with white superiority as being dominant today, so I'm only identifying in a time when we were great from times of law. So, that causes, like Blue Pill said, a level of cognitive dissonance where these niggas online are only romanticizing history. Because when I ask them about where the great ones are, these bird-ass niggas go into a book. Me, I go into my phone book. Me, I go on Facebook and point them out. If you're not comfortable with identifying the gods amongst you nowadays, you niggas are slaves. You're identifying as an inferior amongst white superiority. You've acquiesced through religion that there was a superior race. That superior race, if you niggas are running around saying God is white as if the God frequency or the God energy or intelligent design had a goddamn gender or a skin color, that's when you were retarded in the first place. How the hell could God be a man? So you said that God was white. And then you said that the chosen people were white. So how the fuck how would I feel comfortable around you niggas? Anyway, how could you see yourself as superior? How could you see yourself as chosen? Huh? So your behaviors show that you are the lapdog of the white man. Your behaviors show that you have acquiesced to your superiority in the fucking face of the white man, who, genetically speaking, biologically speaking, is your fucking child. He is the recessive. Go and get ISIS papers, Dr. Fresh Question. So guess what? Guess what kind of psychosis is playing out right now? The child is superior than the parent. The parent is like, the child is greater than me. You are out of your cotton picking minds, okay? You are out of your cotton picking minds. And it's creating all kind of conflict within the minds of black people. So I can understand the level of psychosis that we are under. This shit is going to take all kind of purging in order to get niggas' minds right, okay? You're gonna have to purge that cracker out of your mind. He got up in your blood on the sex farm. He got up in your blood in Syracuse when they started mixing. He got up in the blood when people started running around. Tribes, they would never mix with other tribes. Stocks, they would never mix with other stocks because you don't mix a thoroughbred with a fucking mule, okay? Alright. So y'all running around with all of these dirty crackers in your fucking system, all in your blood. People don't even want to clean their blood. They don't want to take care of that. They don't want to exorcise the demons out of them. So people got all kind of nations in their body, and they're pulling them in different places. But yes, dominant Western culture, the way the Western society, from a Greco-Roman, Freemasonic, Judeo-Christian standpoint, the way that they structured this society, the way that they've structured Western society, is to make European men dominant. They made European men God by way of the German psychiatrists, by way of their conscious community, because Europeans have their own conscious community. If you don't read French and if you don't read German, you can't even claim to know half of the shit you niggas are running around talking about that you know, because that's where a lot of their information is at. All right, but they've created in the age of the age of enlightenment, through the age of enlightenment, through their age of renaissance, through the age of discovery, through all of these ages, through the age of revisionism, when they revised history and rewrote history, that's when they made themselves greater and mightier and more dominant than you. And then when Hollywood came, it was completely over. And then when they took control of the school system, all you got to do is do the research on how they turned the American Indian into a cracker. Or how they turned a Tasmanian into an Australian. Or how they turned the people in the Congo into good niggas. Huh? Into good Christians. It's all documented. That's the same thing that they did with Negroes over here, and they made them obey and worship the cracker. So yeah, I think that our people are suffering for a lack of knowledge. The people perish for a lack of knowledge, and you perish because you don't honor thy mother and thy father. Let's talk about karma. Let's talk about cosmic karma. Let's talk about the fact that if we are off our square as a people collectively, that we will be punished for that. This shit will be rough on us. Okay? You're traveling backwards now. So the pendulum is swinging. We just have to be prepared for when it swings back and to the side. But what's being done in these streets, what's being done on this internet, what's being done in this movement is restoring the mind state. It's waking up dormant DNA. Okay? It's bringing people back from different times. All right? You got babies being born who know that they God. You got babies being born who know that they goddess. You got babies being born and they're doing the work. They're not just talking about it. So, would that be,
They was made for this.
So they are exemplifying black excellence, black superiority. Why not be superior if you are dominant? Why not be superior if you were here first? Why not be superior if history shows that you were the one that raised up all of these civilizations when they were on their knees? Why not? Because it's inside of you. It's the fear of being great. You niggas are running from success. You're running from your greatness. You're running from your higher self. You're not prepared for the success that awaits you because the universe conspires for you niggas' success. Everything that has been taking place in the news that you victim ass niggas has been saying was victimhood has been opportunities for you to show your fucking wings. That's all it's been. And opportunities for each one to teach one. That's all I'm seeing. Because my master teachers already prophesized about these days and times. About how many years ago?
10, 15.
10, 15 years ago. If you get them DVDs that Sinetta got, that Baba sells, that Rich is selling, the teachers talked about all of this shit 10 years ago. They told you about the effeminization of the black male. They told you about the rise in the deaf culture. They told you about the effects of all kind of things dealing with GMO, fake food, vaccines, chemtrails, all of these things. They explained it. So what is awareness? Awareness is consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is having information to prepare yourself. So when things happen, you like, I'm good, I'm cool, I'm prepared, right? So if I'm conscious of how to survive a flood in my house, by having certain things to protect things, and when the flood comes, I already have those things already there to protect me. I'm aware of it. Am I gonna get caught off guard? I'm the nigga floating outside of his crib on a raft during Katrina. The unconscious people is niggas trying to swim on garbage cans. That's the difference between us and them. So, with that being said, conscious people have a duty. Conscious people have things. You know how heavy the weight is on our shoulders? Once we realize what the fuck this is and what we doing out here, huh? Do you understand my frustrations? Do you know where this passion comes from? It's having 10 tons of this black world on your shoulders, knowing that you carrying the weight, knowing that these niggas are comfortable asleep, knowing that they good dead, knowing that they just ready to crawl in the grave, knowing that they gave up. And they scared. They scared. They just want to be American. They just want a fucking seat in Rome. They just want to be accepted. Please, no mas. They don't want to be whipped anymore. No more 12 years. We just want to be, because remember, you got field niggas and house niggas. But the problem is they both on a plantation. Huh? And they mad at the free men. They mad at niggas riding by on horses looking at them like, why are you still on the plantation? Did you not know that you could get off the plantation? So the field niggas are still slaves, and they proud of that. So Lil Wayne is a field nigga. He's proud of that. These rappers are they're very proud of being field niggas, but they still are picking cotton for the slave master. They still get 2 cents off an album. They still put out information. They still suggest, because remember, the art of the European is through suggestion. That's how he rules, through suggestion. The devil said, I will rule through suggestion. I won't force them to do anything. I will suggest. So the rappers suggest that you kill yourself tonight. The rappers suggest that the woman go and sell her body tonight. The rappers suggest that a young man rapes another woman tonight. The rappers suggest that you do a drive-by on your brother. Not the KKK. They won't even say the boys in blue. Okay? They will dare not say that. No, your own brother, the Black Messiah.
the Messianic force. So they are working for Rome. They're taking out the Messiahs. They're taking out the future. They're taking out our warriors. They're taking out our master teachers. They're taking out our prophets. Okay? And until we step up and do something about it, you know, we can't say nothing about it. But this is what we're doing. Fire Bun. We are changing the conversation in the narrative in real time. Okay? Facts. Tsunami season 1.